We're back, and for the last couple weeks, we've been looking at the Blue Jackets forward positions and how they're going to be shaping out, or how they might shape out to start the season. And for this video, we're going to be looking at the Blue Jackets defenseman situation and how that all shapes up. Definitely not as a surefire thing as the center positions or even the wing positions. You know, the center positions look like they're going to be, fine to okay. They certainly gotten some upgrades at the wing position. Defense might be the most interesting to talk about, but maybe not for the right reasons that you'd want to see as a Blue Jackets fan. So there's not a ton of known, there's not a whole lot of known quality here. Zach Werenski, we obviously know what he brings. But besides that, it's really kind of an issue of who's going to fit where. Besides the top two left side defenseman pairings of Zach Werenski and Vladislav Gavrikov, it's really kind of who fits where. Last year, Andrew Peeke slided in next to Zach Werenski, and for what he was asked to do, he did kind of well, but he's probably not an ideal other top pairing defenseman for a team that's serious about getting into the playoffs and making a run. Andrew Peeke, maybe he gets better, maybe he gets another year of development in camp and he continues to impress. Like I said, I think he did good for what he was asked to do for as little development as he had before this season. But there were some times when his play was rough. It's clear that he was asked to, cover up defensively because Zach Werenski is going to take some offensive risks, which is what Zach Werenski, that's his game. That's what he's going to do. But Andrew Peake's offense just became a black hole in the opposing team's zone because he was completely focused in on being only a stay-at-home defensively responsible defenseman. And I guess that was fine for what they were asking him to do, but that's probably not what you want to see when you're looking to make that true playoff push. Then there's the issue of Adam Boqvist. It's a good issue, at least for me. My main concern is, can he stay healthy? Because they give him 27, which was Ryan Murray's cursed number. They passed it to him, and he was good when he was in, but he just wasn't in very consistently. He would get in, start to show some consistent flashes, then he'd get hurt. Some concussion issues, which is very troubling, especially this early in a defenseman's career. But if we're going to assume health, then my questions with Adam Boqvist is, does he build that frame? Does he round out that defensive part of his game? Because Adam Boqvist is also a very offensively minded defenseman, which can be good for helping you score goals. But when you're coming off of a season where you allowed the franchise record for goals against, you might want to emphasize that building out that defensive part of your game is important for a defenseman, even if you are going to be an offensively minded one. It's going to be best if you definitely have that well-rounded game that includes at least some defensive ability. And Adam Boqvist, in theory, he should slide next to Gavrikov pretty well, but then you get to the issue of, where does Erik Goodbranson fit into this? I guess if it was up to me, I guess I would put him on the third pairing. I don't think he gets healthy scratched. I don't think he gets sent down to the minors. You don't sign somebody to a $4 million 4-year deal if you're just gonna not use him. So I think Erik Goodbranson, for better or for worse, is going to have a main spot in this lineup. And he had a bounce back year in Calgary, so maybe that will continue when this contract begins to look more palatable, especially when he starts shoving people around in the crease and shoving a Penguins player here and there. That contract's going to look much more palatable. I don't know why I keep saying it like that, but that's going to look better, I think, as the season goes on. At least I hope. That's all we can do at this point. As when that contract was signed, everybody kind of made Jackets fans vomit in their mouths, and the rest of the NHL laughed, and then they got Gaudreau and whatever. But Erik Goodbranson, he could be a third pair defenseman, but maybe the organization sees him in the top 4. And I think an interesting question is what happens with Nick Blankenburg, who looked very good in his 9-game sample size when he came up to the Blue Jackets. He played very well coming off of the Michigan's Frozen Four appearance. He played great. He ended up having more points than Kent Johnson, but also Kent Johnson is much younger than Nick Blankenburg is. So Nick Blankenburg does have that mentality. He's older. He has that mentality of being around the block more than Johnson was. So I feel like Blankenburg might beat out somebody like Jake Bean for that third pairing. I feel like Jake Bean's name has been kind of thrown out as somebody who can be expendable. I'm not sure how long-term plans are for Jake Bean in the organization, the Blue Jackets organization. They did give up a second-round pick for him, so they might invest in him a little bit. But I feel like if they feel like they can flip Bean for something else, then maybe they'll make that work, especially with guys like Eric Branson coming in. They also signed free agent Marcus Bjork, I believe, from Finland. I believe they signed him. He's a 24-year-old guy. Maybe he gets in if a defenseman is to be traded. But I feel like my ideal defensive pairings, I would still roll with Werenski Peak as for now, just because I'm not sure who else goes next to Zach Werenski. I don't think it's Eric Goodbranson. Adam Boqvist with Zach Werenski might be really fun, but I don't think it would be good for winning games. Gavrikov is a mainstay on that second pair on the left. I don't think they put Gavrikov up with Werenski. And so I think it's Werenski Peak for now, unless something changes for camp. I really would like to see that Gavrikov and Adam Boqvist line gel, and hopefully, again, Adam Boqvist can stay healthy. Hopefully, he can develop some chemistry with a consistent pairing mate. And for the third pair, either Nick Blankenburg or Jake Bean, whoever has a better camp and a better preseason. And I think Eric DeBranson goes on the right side with them. Seventh defenseman, again, either Jake Bean or Nick Blankenburg. And maybe somebody like Marcus Bjork gets into the final roster as well. I wouldn't be surprised seeing somebody that maybe we weren't expecting. Somebody I haven't mentioned yet is Jake Christensen. He did get some NHL minutes last year after some injuries happened. I don't think the organization really wants to see Jake Christensen in the NHL lineup, not because he sucks that bad or anything. He actually looked pretty in place. He didn't seem to be out of sorts or overwhelmed at least too much in his NHL action. I just don't think that the organization views him as a mainstay in the NHL roster. Again, especially with the Eric Goodbranson signing, that really does say a lot about how the organization feels about their current defensive core, that they definitely need some size, some grit, and if that comes at the cost of a little bit of skill, then I guess that's the bullet that the front office is willing to take for the next 4 years. So who knows how that's going to work out. Again, I don't see that contract aging very well. It already doesn't seem to be like a good idea, but who knows? Maybe in 3 years we'll all be looking at this as another one that Jarmo somehow got by the whole hockey world and he surprised everybody. And maybe this was a John Davidson move as well as a Jarmo move. So who knows? So anyway, that's my projections and kind of what I would like to see out of the Blue Jackets pairings, at least starting in the opening game against Carolina. Again, it might change throughout, season performances. Maybe somebody like Jake Bean, who I've just been kind of slandering, like, yeah, maybe he'll just be a seventh defenseman. Maybe Jake Bean catches fire in camp and has a really good first 10 games or something. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Thank you all for watching this video. If you made it this far, please feel free to leave a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed it and you would like to see more. Please let me know what you think about the Jackets defensive core and what you expect from them down in the comments below. Thank you all again for watching, and I will see you at the next one.